To be here. It's simply completely unique. There is nothing else like it on the planet. It's all about humans. It's human stories. They're completely alone. They can't bring family, friends. There is no outside assistance. Everything that moves their boat through the water is because of the skipper. It's a completely unscripted adventure. No one knows exactly what's going to happen.
McIntyre Golden Globe, around the globe from the south to the December 6th, 26. Yay!
Well, g'day everybody. Here we go, take 3. Hang on a sec. We've had a software problem, so that's fine. We're not running live on Facebook, which they won't allow us to do now for some reason, and we tried 3 times, not happening. So it's here on YouTube. We are hopefully Facebook people are here, but we'll share it to Facebook after this is done. So we're not exactly on a Wednesday. It's actually Monday, and if we're lucky, I will have why is Matt not showing in the screen?
Here.
Yeah, I can see that. Hang on. I've got the solo on. Hang on. I'm going to change this. Okay, I'm here. Jeepers. Good to see you, Matt. How you doing there? Don't you love technology?
Well, I mean, it just makes me want to get back on the boat.
Yeah, I can imagine. But anyway, I mean, you've done how many thousand miles? Is it from when you took off? 22,000 or something?
No, I'm looking at about 20,200 is what I'm seeing right now, and that's basically from the Pacific Northwest. Which is funny. Every time you talk about me, you say that I left from the East Coast, and that's the West Coast that I left
the West
from.
Coast. Oh, that's
Yes,
just me.
yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, you Australians are upside down anyway.
Yeah, I wasted an hour today because a 580 boat was 136, and I caught him 163. Long story, but that's just me. I invert numbers. But anyway, yes, I know you're from the West Coast, so just tell everybody. Anyway, so no burnout yet. I mean, crikey, that's a lot of sailing, and you're only months away from being in Le Sable d'Olonne.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll step off the boat. I mean, I've been in some pretty fascinating places like the Falklands, Chatham Islands, of course, New Zealand, and a couple of port calls in Polynesia. And getting back on the boat is always well, it's like a fresh start, quite honestly. You're like, it's like, what the heck am I doing here? Getting back on this boat and doing another 5,000 miles or so. But I settled into the routine pretty quickly, and I will say the celestial navigation. You build the routine around that, and it's been kind of a blast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a bunch of people that don't even know you. This is the first time they've ever seen you. So, Matt, you're an American. You've got a Cape George 36. You got yours well before Kirsten got hers. So that's a statement in itself. And you did a refit. You're now on your way to Le Sable d'Olonne the long way, very much like Matosia.
Yeah, I am absolutely I mean, being up in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I've met Com, who's bringing his Toshiba through the Panama Canal from San Diego, I believe, and I just didn't want to do that. I'm not interested in going through the canal. Plus, my mother is living in New Zealand, and I figured this was a good opportunity to sail down and see her.
Absolutely. In fact, that's the last time I saw you in New Zealand, the stopover for the OGR in
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
December 23 or something, and we had a bit of fun actually because I have a bit of a soft spot for any servicemen and stuff. So let's just go right back to the beginning. This is all about you and who you are rather than all about GGR.
okay.
So what was your schooling like? Where were you born? What sort of family? Upbringing. Take us through school.
Oh gosh, that's kind of an odd story. So I mean, I would say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because my mother, at the tender age of like 22, was one of 2 American women in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia in like I say, the early 50s.
Jeepers.
and she met my dad over there, who was a refiner for Aramco,
Right.
and they got married, and
What was
they
she
wanted.
doing there? What was she
She,
doing there?
she was a very early programmer for IBM, and they were on
In the
contract.
50, in when? How far back?
It was like 1952.
Shapers. She must have been a huge computer. Anyway, that's another story.
Oh well, yeah, they were enormous, but it was like the key punch operator. So she's making these
Okay.
decks of
All
punch
right.
cards.
Rightio. So they got married.
Yeah,
Had
got
fun.
married,
Good for you.
got married, and being in Saudi Arabia, they were like, well, we don't know how good the medical facilities are, although they were actually pretty good. And they decided to have me born back in the States, which apparently
Yeah.
was a pretty miserable experience in this small town in southern Illinois. And ended up going back to Saudi Arabia, and I have two brothers and a sister that were born in Saudi
Wow.
because the doctors were much better, being Pakistani and Indian, and the nurses were awesome.
Yeah.
And but they only had schools up until the eighth grade, which
Yeah.
is pre high school. And if they wanted to stay over there, they would send me off to the American school in Las Palmas or back to Grandma or something like that.
Yeah.
And I guess they took a look at me and they were like, "Yeah, he can't be trusted." So
Yeah.
they took their last vacation through Australia and New Zealand and thought, this is like back in 1971 and two, and they'd been out
Yeah.
of the country for the U.S. for 20 years.
Yeah.
And Nixon was in office. There were hippies and anti-war demonstrations, and
New Zealand was like, wow. Yeah, I was there in those years. Yeah.
yeah, it was like back the way the States was back in the 1940s and
Yeah.
50s.
Absolutely.
So Australia and New Zealand. My dad hates snakes, so that takes care of Australia.
Yeah.
So I,
Okay.
so I ended up going to high school in New Zealand, and I mean, I just got a boatload of friends still there,
Yeah.
and a lot of sailors naturally, because I mean, originally we were in Invercargill in the southern part of the South Island,
Yeah.
and my mother was like, life is too short to be living in Scotland, and we moved up to a town south of Auckland where we have orange trees and avocados, and I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a paradise.
So you did all your early schooling from there, like all
Yeah,
your high school stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then went back to college in the States and graduated right into the recession of 1982 or
Oh,
83.
great. What did you
And
graduate as? What?
economics. I had an
Yeah.
economics major. I had like five different majors because I just, I like learning things, but you kind of look at what they do professionally, like what a geologist actually does, and you're
Yeah.
like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then eventually at the 4.5 year mark, I was like, I need to graduate. So I just
Right.
cranked out a bunch of classes and got a bachelor's in economics, and then could not find a job.
Oh, really? Japers. So
And
what happened? What did you do then?
so I went to graduate school for a year, and then I joined the Navy.
Simple as that. Jeepers. We
Yeah,
never. Our conversation didn't start back that far. So you literally went straight in.
yeah,
When we started talking, it was always sort of from you were already in. So walk us through that. What you were doing, how long you're in, and what was happening.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was like the height of the Cold War. I mean, I think Reagan was in power, and he was going to spend the Russians into the ground.
Yeah.
And I ended up flying in P-3 Orions, which is an anti-submarine warfare aircraft.
Yeah.
Did a couple of deployments to Iceland and a split site
What
deployment
were you?
between.
Were you pedaling on the bike to turn the propellers on the planes, or
No,
what?
well, no, I was a flight officer. So
Okay.
initially, you're a navigator communicator, which is,
Okay.
you're actually shooting cell with a periscopic sextant that goes through the roof of the aircraft.
I've got one of them. I've got
Yeah,
a periscope sitting and a solar sun compass from the planes in Antarctica. Long
yeah,
story, but anyway, I know exactly what you mean. They're
well, yeah,
quite cool, eh?
they are very cool, and they're. I mean, it's easy to shoot stars because everything is stable
Yeah.
as long as the fight station doesn't accelerate on you, which they'll do sometimes just to mess with you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, the good news is the pre comps, the post comps, and the plotting is all the same.
Yeah.
So it's coming back quite nicely for me.
So I guess a sextant's old hat for you, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not the handheld, but I mean, everything is the same apart from that.
Yeah.
And so that was the first tour I did, and over the first 6 months, and then you kind of fleet up to be I guess, kind of like the quarterback of the airplane, the tactical
Yeah.
coordinator, and the mission commander.
Okay.
So anything apart from flying the aircraft, I mean, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Jeepers. So how long did that last? And where did sailing fit in? Where did boats turn up?
Oh, boats turned up back in New Zealand when I was, like 11-year old Sea Scout in Invercargill.
Okay, you got to do that. Everyone in New Zealand sails or plays with
Oh,
boats, or they
oh,
were
oh,
building
absolutely.
boats. In that
Yeah.
era, everyone was building boats. It was
Oh,
amazing.
exactly right. Well, and in fact, the Cape George cutter, I mean, is was Cape George was founded by a Kiwi up in
Yeah,
Port Townsend, Washington. Yeah, so it
yeah,
was kind of an easy choice for me.
yeah. Okay, so that was so sailing was already there. Did
Yep.
you take it to the navy with you, sort of thing?
Well, it's you go into the Navy and it's pretty consuming, and then you get married and have a couple of kids, and that's pretty consuming. I mean, I sailed in
Yeah,
college. I sailed FJs in college and had a Hobie Cat when I on my second tour in Hawaii,
yeah.
and then went into the reserves after the drawdown in '93 and flew for another 12 years in the Pacific Northwest. And at some point, I'm just trying to
What
think.
were you flying then? Same planes?
Yeah, yeah, same aircraft, same
Wow.
aircraft.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, it was a pretty satisfying career as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 happens, and I ended up doing a mobilization. I mean, I was 15 months in Iraq, 2 years in Oman, which was pretty interesting. A couple of years in Africa.
Logistics again, or flying, or
No, I mean I was a staff officer doing various things
yeah, yeah.
at a slightly higher uh, operational and strategic level.
Pay grade. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean it was pretty interesting work,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, and that ended up retiring at 29 years,
Bloody hell. So
and
what rank were you when you got out?
I was a captain.
Captain. Yeah. Okay.
Or for you, for any army guys, it's the same as a bird colonel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so you got out. What year did you get out again?
I retired in 2014,
2014.
and I bought the Cape George in 2012.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've had this particular boat for about 14 years.
That's amazing. Hey, yeah. Okay. So we're right up to present. How many kids? What are the kids doing?
Two kids. I'm actually at my daughter's place in Portland right now.
Yeah.
She's she's a, critical care nurse in the Providence system here, and my son is like his dad. He's still trying to figure it out.
Oh, no one ever figures it out. I've never quite figured it out, but I got an idea.
Well, exactly.
A
He's
bit like you.
had a series of ideas and done a bunch of fun things. So,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you get to Cape George, and what were you doing with it? Where were you sailing?
well, primarily up in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it
Yeah,
was interesting. I was talking to, I think, Guy DeBoer, and he was like, "Oh, well, the sailing is much better in the Atlantic, and we have more places to go." And I'm just
Atlantic.
thinking,
No way.
have you ever sailed in the Pacific?
Yeah, absolutely. Northwest is just, I've never been there, but a lot of my friends have, and wow.
Oh,
One
it's
day.
exquisite. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you've got the whole Sailor Sea, the Inside Passage, Southeast
yeah,
Alaska. I mean, Vancouver Island,
yeah,
and I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, the U.S. West Coast is kind of scary in some respects because
yeah,
you get a good westerly, and the whole
yep,
coast closes out until you get to
yep,
San Francisco.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so where did the GGR fit in all that? When did it start up? When did you first hear about it, and what made the trigger to roll over?
Well, I think I'm my background is a little bit like yours in that I kind of grew up with, Gypsy Moth Sales
Yeah,
the world, and I was aware of the Golden Globe back in '68, but I was pretty young at the time too.
yeah,
But I mean, it was just such a story that it was just hard to miss. And I can
yeah, yeah.
remember, as a Sea Scout and a teenager, my dream boat was like a Swan 44.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And you just you just hang on to that when you have that particular dream at that age.
Yeah, it makes me think how lucky we were. There was no screens. I mean, we had black and white TVs and bloody. Well,
Oh,
we only had three channels. That was it. And so
yeah,
you read a lot. I hardly ever get to read now. I don't have time. But anyway.
no, exactly right. And then you become a little bit more aware of. I mean, I think I was listening to who's the young English fellow that's got the Cape George that's in the army.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, yeah. He was saying one of his inspiration was Tillman, And
Yeah.
I've got a couple of Tillman's books where he does
I had them
the
all. I had them
yeah.
all. In
I
fact,
mean, just
I met a guy that you may relate to this. I don't know if you remember when. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of another guy. That doesn't matter. Sorry, I wanted to bring that up.
but
Anyway,
but but
yeah,
but 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 if you're a reader and you're interested in that kind of thing, I mean, there's just I mean, so many out of print books out there that
yeah,
people just aren't aware of.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, too true. Anyway, okay, so then present day, like that was your background. When did you first, or did you hear about our edition in 2018, and you followed that, or when did you trigger to think, hey, I could do this now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I was certainly aware of the of Kirsten's um, attempt because there was kind of it made a bit of a splash in Port Townsend because of course Cape George Marine Works is still in operation, and
Yeah,
I know the owner pretty well. Um, I honestly I'm not can't remember whether I was aware of the 2018 edition or
yeah.
not,
Okay. So it
but
was Kirsten at some point. Describe to me the transition from thing. Hey, I think I could do this. Maybe I should do this. I got the same boat, or was it I got to do this? Oh, I've got a boat anyway.
well, I think I was kind of looking at the second iteration, but it was I just didn't have enough time to get everything together, is what it comes down
Yeah,
to. I mean, you have to be kind of realistic about this stuff. And quite honestly, I feel like I barely have time to get things together for, for this race, but I'm working on it, man. I'm working on
yeah, exactly. Well,
it.
no one was ready in 1968, and even in 2026, a few are ready. But anyway,
And I kind of, it's kind of aggravating to read about, guys just showing up in 1968 with their boats and going.
yeah,
And then looking at all the requirements in the NOR,
yeah, they got to deal with us. Yeah,
yeah, and I understand exactly where you're coming
yeah,
from, to organize a race like that. And honestly, it's a good sales point for my kids. They're like, this is kind of crazy. They're
yeah,
supportive, but the
yeah.
fact that you've lost boats, but you haven't lost any people during the races. I mean
That's it. Yeah.
that's a huge sales pitch for kids, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, we're all part of it. We're wrapped up in this whole deal of spreading the word to inspire people, which is websites and social media and so on. So I have a rule of thumb there. Once you're playing the game, and that's part of the game, you have to be super responsible risk taker.
Oh, totally.
And to the credit of everyone that makes the start line, there's no question. Super responsible risk takers. They're not radical. They're not crazy. And it's not as if I'm saying you shouldn't be radical and crazy, because I kind of like that too. But there's a place over the side. So anyway, yeah, it is a challenge. But you're nearly there. Tell me, what was before you set off on this voyage? 20,000 miles or something. What was the biggest trip you'd done on the boat previously?
It would have been sailing down the U.S. West Coast into the Sea of Cortez,
Yeah.
and
So
then returning back to the Pacific Northwest via Hawaii.
yeah, okay, because you seem to have slipped into this one very matter of fact. Like I couldn't believe it when when you said, "Oh, I'm going to sail it around the bottom and come up here," and I said, "What?" And then you just took off, and next minute I know you. I think you were. I think it was you were on the way to New Zealand. And I'm thinking you're going the wrong way. You got to come back this way.
Well, it's funny because when I was in New Zealand, I mean, I pulled the boat out and did the bottom and a few other things. And while I was doing that, I think I looked at the documentary that you'd done. I think on the 2018 race,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and there was an Australian guy that was going to basically sail around Cape Horn
Yeah.
and do what I've
I
done
just
so
spoke to
far.
him today. No, yesterday. I just got a message from him. Yes.
And he got dismasted and lost the boat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long story, and it goes right back to reefing gears. He didn't have reefing gears. That's where it started from. But anyway,
But
yeah,
I'm watching this thing and I'm like, oh my God. At that point I turned off the documentary and was like, oh well, I mean, what
well,
am I doing here?
You didn't watch it until you got back, or something, or
Well, I was in New Zealand at the time, so
yeah.
I
So did
hadn't
you
got,
watch it before you left or not?
yeah, well, I watched it up to that point and I was like, oh my God, is this documentary gonna get worse? I should just
Yeah,
stop, cut my losses right now and, revisit this particular plan. But I
yeah.
thought I'd press on anyway. I mean, it's one of
But
those.
did you?
I mean, the Cape Horn has got, such a reputation that, at this point I've got the right boat, and I thought I might as well just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have got the right boat because you're going to go in the race anyway, so you're sort
Yeah.
of like not doing anything wrong. We put a lot of people ask us about the waypoint that we put up in that area, sort of northwest of Cape Horn,
Yep.
and you've got to leave that to port. You're not allowed to go past it, and that's to stop people getting trapped up there. It's where a lot of boats have come to grief. You get caught on a long way out lee shore. But anyway, that's another story too.
Well, no, it's interesting. I was going to follow that, but I ended up having to stop in the Chatham Islands and ended up going a little bit further south.
Yeah,
So I skipped that waypoint and was pretty much at,
yeah,
between 45 and 50 south for most of the trip.
yeah. No, that's all pretty good. So tell us about your emotions heading towards Cape Horn and getting around the bottom.
Well, it's interesting, and it's kind of along the same lines of, what do you do with all that time that you're going to have on that boat? I don't see how you can stand it, but you get into these routines, and I mean, you just take it one day at a time, quite honestly.
Yeah, there's
And
always
the and I got some good advice from Andrew Ritchie.
yeah,
Yeah, he's been in touch with me, and he goes, treat the trip like it's a delivery.
yeah,
Be conservative,
yeah,
and and I did that. I
yeah.
think pretty much the whole trip from New Zealand to the Falkland Islands, except for one day after I'd gone around Cape Horn. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I ended up basically having either the stay sail or my storm stay sail and a storm try sail up pretty much from the Chatham Islands around Cape Horn, and then 2 days out of Cape Horn on the way to the Falklands. And honestly, I'm not sure I'm not going to do that again because,
Okay, so to get this right, you had your trysail up and a staysail up, and that was it,
yeah,
virtually all the way.
yeah, and I mean I'm doing averaging 6 knots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean I was taking a look at the my log, and I mean most of the weather I got was 25 knots gusting to 35.
Yeah, a typical day in the Southern Ocean.
Yeah,
You don't need much to drive them.
yep,
You've got a huge problem. You haven't had enough time in other boats to know how good the Cape George probably is, right? And I say probably because I've never sailed on a Cape George 36, right? But one of my most startling observations with Kirsten when she was going around is that hull is completely unique. It's like I see it as like a proper square rig ship hull. There's a huge amount of buoyancy in the bow,
yep,
right? Like any other yacht, and you've got a bone in her teeth all the time, unlike every other yacht, right? And I reckon that's not unlike it. It's not a scow bow like you get now, but it creates, I believe, what I'm seeing. It creates a whole different ball game for heavy in Southern Ocean and things like that. Very special boat. But anyway, you obviously like the boat, so tell us what happened. The last bit then, getting around Cape Horn.
Oh, well, I characterize it as being Cape Horn cocky. It's well, I got around Cape Horn, no big deal,
Yeah.
and the weather kind of got kind of nice and sunny, and I was like, well, time to pull down the storm sails, and I had the main up without a reef, and it's getting darker, and I think, well, I think I'm good, and I mean, a front rolled through, and the sacrificial tube on my monitor snapped,
Uh,
and at 2 o'clock in the morning I'm fighting to reef the main. So it's like, oh, I'm such an idiot. so so
okay.
every time you get a little bit cocky, Mother Nature
Yeah.
steps in and makes you humble again.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a touchy subject about the brake coupling because that was the downfall of a few people in the past with monitors. All right.
Well,
Anyway.
that was interesting to me too, though, because
Yeah.
I had an issue with well, I think you know about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I lost that downwind sail that I had built for me about 900 miles out of San
Yeah.
Diego.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
And when that way, I mean, it was one of those storms that, I mean, it was an interesting situation because it was a relatively new sail. Actually, it was a brand new sail, and I was doing about 20. I had 20 knots of wind, and I
Yeah.
heard my sailmaker on my shoulder going, "Okay, we're rating this sail to 20 knots, and then you need to furl it."
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at 20 knots, and I was like, "Time to furl it." I pulled the furler, and it was locked solid.
Yeah.
And what had happened is the furler had pushed up against the bottom rail of my pulpit
Yeah.
and bent a casting, or bent a piece of metal, which then caught a casting, and it was just locked solid.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And then I looked down, and it's like I've got 30 knots of wind. And the last time I looked at it, I was like 42 knots of wind, and the boat is like leaping out of the water. It's just like, oh my God. So it was, either the sail or the rig at that point. And
Yeah.
I ended up cutting the sail off. And of course, that sacrificial tube had broken.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I mean, what I have learned about the boat and the monitor, I
Yeah.
mean, you could almost write a book on it.
Yeah.
So, I know how to easily replace the tube. I can do sheet to tiller steering
Yeah.
in extremis. And it's, I mean, I'm just comfortable with all the systems and how the boat works.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. So, and the rest of the trip, what sort of, now, where's the boat now? Because I know you flew up there. Where's the boat?
Yeah, the boat's in. I pulled into the Virgin Islands because I had an issue with the control cable of the engine,
Yeah.
and then went from the Virgin Islands to Rockland, Maine.
Yeah. Okay.
And
And so,
of course, a day before I get to Rockland, I run over two lobster traps, and I don't know. I don't know if you've done that, but it's kind of like hooking a brick wall.
yeah. Okay. So you hooked up, wrapped down the prop and got caught, or just the
Yeah,
rudder of the prop knocked
yeah,
over?
and not once, but twice. So,
Jesus.
so I actually went over the side with my exposure suit and my life jacket and a harness, and was able to cut the first one off. But it's pretty exhausting getting back on the boat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, I catch another one. I never saw the damn things either.
Jesus.
So at that point, I just put out a call on Channel 16, and a local fisherman from Matinicus Island shows up and ends up towing me into Matinicus Harbor.
With the
And
lobster.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they were just so
Did you get any in it? Was there a lobster in it?
well. No, no. It was just the way they set up. They have a buoy
Oh,
that
this
you can
recovery line.
see, and
Yeah.
then a second buoy.
Yeah. Second one.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a recovery line. That's the one you always get. Yep. I know what you
yep,
mean.
yep.
So what's the program now for the boat?
Well, the program now. That never mind. The boat's fine.
I'm ticking, like,
Yeah, well, the boat's fine. The issue for me now is all the other stuff. So
yeah.
doctor, dental, stress test.
Yeah.
Um, I'm catching up with all of the updates and figuring out what YB tracker stuff, and
All the stuff. Yeah. I know.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll be gentle because I know you've been sailing a lot.
Well, I mean it's an advantage on my part. I mean, I'm actually more concerned about the guys that have worked on the boat but haven't done the sailing. I mean, you need
Oh,
to get in the
yeah.
boat. You need to get in the boat.
Yeah. In fact, it's a very valid point. And we didn't talk about what you did to the boat. You did a pretty substantial refit. You owned it for 12 years.
Yep.
Um, you give us a 1 minute on what you did to the boat before you left, and what's the schedule before the start? Because the boat might
Uh,
be worn out. Some people say, "Oh, geez, you look at that, you've worn the boat out now."
well, I mean the boat's like 1981 vintage. If I've worn it out, haven't worn it out by now, it's not going to be worn out.
That's
But
right.
it's like, another 2,000 miles to get to France, and I
Yeah,
knock on wood when I say that.
yeah,
But I mean, it was the classic stuff for Cape George, and I'd already done the bulwarks because that's the weak point. I mean, it's a fiberglass boat. Basically, it's a wooden boat dropped into a fiberglass hull,
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
and the weak point for it is the bulwarks was usually glass on the outside, and then it was Port Orford cedar on the inside, and that
Yeah,
over time, water gets through the tow rail and rots, and you've got all kind. I'd taken care of that years ago,
yeah.
but it still had the original wooden mast and boom, and I
Right.
thought, it's kind of time to
Yeah.
do a complete re-rig with a dual backstay set up, and so that was probably the main thing, and then you peel the onion when you're doing a refit, is the way I characterize it.
I've never heard that phrase.
Yeah, so I had like a little leak in one of the corners in the cabin top, and you look at that, and suddenly you end up basically replacing the whole cabin top,
Yeah, just leave
and
the
then
rudder keel.
oh my God, it was just like one thing after another. I didn't think I was ever getting out of the yard.
I remember that stage. I remember sending a couple of photos and thinking, "Oh, jeepers." But anyway, you're at
But
the
I
right
mean,
place to do it.
yeah, but they did a great job. I mean,
Yeah,
the boat has just been rock solid.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, that's cool. All right, so you got paperwork and reading and all that stuff to catch up with the official side. When do you think you're going to get away?
My plan is to. I mean, I'm going to be here in Portland, Oregon, for 3 weeks, and then I'll do the safety course that I'm required to do in San Diego,
Yeah,
and then back to Rockport for 2 weeks, and I
yeah.
should be headed your way on the 1st of July.
Holy dooly, busy times ahead, eh?
Yeah,
Better
yep.
get off quickly so you can start studying.
Well, I'm hoping that 40 days that I've got to get in by the 10th of August, I believe.
Yeah, 10th of August. Don't be late. Jeepers, there's a lot going on.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm going to take another hard look at the, do a little navigation planning, but I think 40 days to go 2,000 miles is enough time.
2,000 miles is more than 2,000.
It's like, was it 2,800 maybe? I mean, tops. I'm not.
Hang on, you're a navigator. What's the question? What's the difference between 20 and 28?
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I got a
But
mate out there, Kerry Harris, who's actually the assistant race director for the GGR. It took him 3 months. It took him 3 weeks to go 1,500 miles,
oh God, I
right? And
Donna,
he's still out
oh,
there now. That's in a 580, but the 580s around the world we're averaging 135, 140 mile a day all the way around the world. And he's trying to get from Antigua back to England, and honestly, it's just been a nightmare. But
oh wow. Okay. Well, that really that relaxes me, Don.
actually,
Thanks a lot, buddy.
he might have been a bit early, so you're about right. It should be streaming across by then if you go up high and around the corner. Okay.
Well, I'll take a really hard look at the actual mileage and see what the weather might look like in
Yeah.
July. But I think, I mean, historically speaking, 40 days should be plenty of
Yeah,
time to get
absolutely.
there. Yeah.
You should be, buddy, doing at least minimum 1,000 miles a week.
Yep.
You know. Anyway,
So I'm kind of hoping I'm planning on being in Les Sables d'Olonne, by the 1st of August. But we'll see.
yeah, okay. But what's the deal with your sales? Who built your sales?
There's a
A mix.
yeah, I've got a Yankee that was done, after
Cutting it off.
my sale blew up. I ended up getting a Yankee built in New Zealand,
Yeah.
but my sales are done by Port Townsend Sales,
Okay.
or by Carol Hasse,
Yeah.
and I mean they're handmade.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
like it's like an all woman sales loft, and they just do a fabulous job.
Okay, that's cool. We're getting a bit boring. I'm going to throw some words at you, right? And you got to tell me the first thing that comes to your brain.
Oh my God! Well, I had about 4 hours sleep, so I'm not sure there's much in my brain right now.
That's all right. Okay, you ready?
Yep,
Help.
me.
Suhaili.
Oh, Tipi Haere, my boat.
Woman. Woman.
Beautiful.
Inspiration.
I'd say Chichester, quite honestly.
Hunger.
Uh, Food.
Luck.
Don't depend on it.
Lonely.
Not
Life.
grand. Life is grand.
Southern Ocean.
Um, Nice winds.
Dreams.
Ooh, so much to do.
Fear.
Not much.
Vendée Globe.
Oh, expensive.
Adventure.
Life.
Cape Horn.
Oh, Cape Horn. Done.
Bowline.
The best knot.
Albatross.
Bird.
Risk.
Mitigate.
Knife.
Handy.
Panic.
Well, panic. Pointless.
Something just made me laugh. I'll tell you that. Father.
Uh, Farmer.
No, father. Father.
Father.
Father.
Like father figure. Father
Yeah.
figure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Cold.
Uh, Cold. Often.
Weather.
Weather. Weather. Wind.
Family.
The best.
Overboard.
Don't do it.
Sponsors.
Don't have any.
Excitement.
Oh, I mean, life.
Okay. So what made me giggle? I'm here listening to you. Look at the thing. You have the direct takeoff, not of Bugs Bunny, but I think it's the guy, the pig in the cartoon character. I don't know. One of them goes, anyway. Sorry, people are wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But your voice, it just every now and then it hits me and says, "Cheapers, that's Bugs Bunny," or "That's bloody." You've got the voice of one of the cartoon characters.
Was like a Porky Pig or something like
Porky
that.
Pig, yeah, in Porky Pig, you know. If anyone believes me and thinks that's the same, please pass a comment. Maybe I'm losing the plot. So now I'm going to ask you some questions. You just pick the number, right?
Okay.
So you pick a number between 1 and 10.
8.
What do you know a lot about?
Wow. Probably. I mean, I'm a generalist. What do I know a lot about? Uh, yeah. I mean, I am not an expert at anything. I've always been kind of a general. It's one of the things I liked about being in the Navy was every 3 years you'd have a new job.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I mean, I constantly learning a bunch of new things. I'm a jack of all trades, and
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good. Okay.
yep.
Between 11 and 20.
How about 11?
What thing could you live without? Oh, no. What thing could you not live without and why?
My family and friends.
Why? Obvious question, but
Well, they're just. I mean, they just keep me. They give me the support that I need. I mean, they're just so generally positive.
yeah. Yep.
I mean, the support that I've gotten from family and friends on this particular event has just been. I mean, I kind of joke about it to some extent. They have these fitness reports in the military,
Yeah.
and they kind of make jokes about some of them.
Yeah.
And the one that I think of is his men would follow him anywhere,
Yeah.
just to see what he does next.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's the way my family and friends have been. I think particularly in this
Yep.
for this race.
Okay. 21 to 30.
24.
24. What is your nickname and why?
I don't have a nickname. The
Porky.
I mean,
It's Porky.
oh, Porky the Pig. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
Be
how
be
come?
careful. Be
Yeah.
careful, Don. I mean, revenge is a dangerous thing.
I say that with tenderness and care.
Right, right.
Okay. Jeepers, it's going to be hard for me to lose that now. I think you're going to become Porky.
Well,
He looks like a nice bloke. And so have
you
you
know,
heard him talk or
we're gonna
laugh?
we're gonna we're gonna be doing this Australia New Zealand thing here pretty shortly.
You did a bit. Hey, go Fox. You did a bit then.
This could get pretty ugly pretty quick.
Anyway, okay, 31 to 40.
How about 40?
What, 40?
Yep.
Yep, 40. Okay. Would you rather be poor and love your job or rich and hate it?
Oh, too easy. Poor and love my job.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you obviously like the services then?
I did. Yep.
Yeah,
And again, it's because there was just such a variety of things that was going on.
yeah. Yep, exactly. Okay, short order, 41 to 48.
How about 44?
44.
Yeah.
If you could sit down for dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I would think somebody like Abraham Lincoln. Somebody that was an amazing historical character.
Okay. I was going to say something that'll make you, and this is just a quiet joke between you and me. I thought you'd say Trump and ask him why.
Or Bugs
Did
Bunny.
you see? You would have seen what happened when you just mentioned that one little word? I mean, this is not this is great about the interview with Yachting Monthly
Yeah,
with Katie, and
yeah.
I forget exactly what you said. It was so benign and so nothing, and jeepers, the response was just crazy. People don't understand, yeah.
I think the reporter turned it into clickbait. Quite honestly.
Yeah, quite possibly because it was a benign statement. It wasn't a
Yeah.
big deal. It wasn't a big deal at all.
No,
Jeepers.
exactly right.
I mean, at the moment, you talk about what's going on. At the moment, it's bloody hot in the Sable Dome at the moment. So let's not talk about the weather. you know.
Well,
Anyway,
well,
uh,
I had to chuckle about the response to that a little bit because it's
oh,
just
well, we did. Anyway, we won't go there. Otherwise, we'll
yeah,
start.
no, yep.
So, okay. So, I've got one more thing here. I'll try and think of a good one. How many months of the year have 28 days in it?
Well, it's like how many months every year has 28 days in it. Every
Okay.
month has the 28 days in
Okay.
it.
I thought you might not have heard that one yet. But that's right. It's exactly. Um, okay. No, that'll do. They're getting a bit boring, all those ones. I'm running out of new ideas. Right. Now we better see we're in the GGR. Let's talk about a bit about the GGR. You know, what drove you to make the decision to do the GGR? Wouldn't you like to go cruise the Pacific?
Well, I'll be doing that as well. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to finishing the race as well because I'll have the boat. Let's knock on wood when I say this. I'll be
Yeah.
back in the Sable d'Olonne, and the next decision will be like Mediterranean or up north, and then down the U.S. Canada and East Coast. I
Yeah.
mean, but I've known so many yachtsmen that they want to sail around the world, and if they do it, it takes them 8 to 15 years,
Yeah.
or they end up abandoning their boats someplace because it's not what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what is it shaping up to be what you expected for the GGR up until this point? Not talking
I,
about the race, just all the dramas of getting ready to go and all the preps.
yeah,
Still,
I actually think it's been better in a lot of respects. I mean, the places that I have stopped. I mean, the hardest part has been like coming up the Brazilian coast and not pulling in
yeah,
because I needed to keep going. But
yeah,
at the same time, I mean, the places I've stopped in, Pango Pango and Apia and Waitangi and the Chatham Islands,
yeah,
I mean, I've met some fabulous people
yeah,
and had some, you know, crazy situations where the guy that helped me out the most in the Virgin Islands was a solar contractor. And I went with him to do a bid, and it turned out that the people that lived at the house he was doing the bid at, I grew up in Saudi Arabia with. So,
yeah.
so
That's
and
a great separation. Yeah,
it's constantly happening to me, and it's just been fascinating.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So that side of it's good. And then, what are you most looking forward to between now and the start? Just getting to Les Sabres, I suppose.
Well, La Sable, and I didn't get to travel and meet you guys in November at
Yeah.
the conference, and I know, and part of the thing that I've been looking forward to from the beginning was getting kind of plugged into that French yachting culture,
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
and
Well. Yeah. It's unique, but I think what you'll blow you away is just the GGR culture. Just all the other entrants and everything. Because you've been a bit out on the bit of the outer because you've been sailing for bloody months and months and months,
yeah,
and you're about to enter a whole new world. You're going to be surrounded by other guys. Guys and girls will all be here for the first time. Together, which is a huge thing. So
and it's
okay,
it's one of those subcultures. I'm constantly running into these subcultures that you've never seen before, and you're like,
yeah,
I'm like, this is amazing, and it's you're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody.
Yeah, that'll cool. And okay, now talking about the race specifically, where do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for you? You know, to get around.
I'll tell you, the worst sailing is when you have no wind and it's a 30 knot. You travel all day long and you cover 30 miles,
Yeah, yeah,
and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die out here. Did I bring enough food or water? I mean, it's horrible. So I
yeah.
really I really think the hardest part is going to be after we get around Cape Horn and figure out how to.
Get all the way up the top.
Exactly right. What's the Azores High doing? What route are you going to be taking up the South American coast?
Yeah,
I think that's where the race will be won or lost.
yeah. Too true. So, are you a racing guy, an adventurous guy, or a cruising guy? What is
Um,
your attitude for the event?
well, I'm not a cruising guy. I would say probably adventure first, but I did some small boat racing in college.
Okay, so you're going to get hooked up with the race as soon as you got a boat beside you.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. It's a sneaky approach. Oh, I just relax, trysail, and a storm jib. For a month, that's fine. You'll get out there, you'll be going hell for leather, but you don't have to put much more on to keep it going a bit faster, right?
Well,
Anyway,
that's the thing, and it's a marathon. I mean, it's not a sprint.
yeah, exactly. That's the attitude. So, and so then, what do you think will be the exciting part? Like, what's still drawing you into the race once the start gun goes? Where's the excitement factor or the fun factor?
Well, the a friend of mine who that helped me out in Rockport. He did a little bit of sailing with me. In fact, I think he went from La Paz to Hawaii on that trip that I went on.
Yeah,
And a lot of guys, you go offshore and land disappears, and they're like, but but I but the scary part for me is when you approach land.
yeah, absolutely.
So the two film drops are going to be a challenge. Um, the navigation around Cape Horn, because you've got that island 80 miles to the south of the Cape. You want to split that nicely,
Yeah,
or maybe you want to see the Cape. I mean, who knows?
yes,
So that's definitely the challenge. And navigating. I mean, there have been several days when you can't do a cell shot,
yeah.
so you'd have to really pay attention to what you think your course and speed are, and do a good solid
Well, you can
DR.
go a week down there without getting any sun. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not usual. So
So to me, that's the obvious challenge
yeah, yeah.
is on the approaches.
And tell me, I've got some stuff here. I'm going to show this in here. So the boat. This was I don't know. You probably can't see that. I got a shot of the boat where it's got its new deck on or new cabin top on and so on. What are you doing for cooking and food? What's your program for cooking and food?
Oh my God! I I have to chuckle because there's a great picture of Sir Robin Knox Johnson where I think he's looks like the classic schoolboy where he's got his arms folded and his legs crossed and like half of his provisions behind him.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like 300 cans of corned beef and
Yeah,
like 400 pounds of potatoes.
yeah,
And, I'm certainly taking some fresh food. But the
yeah,
fact of the matter is, I mean, there is just so much fabulous freeze dried food out there now
yeah,
and wet foods. And
yeah,
I'm a decent cook.
yeah,
And I've got a, two burner gas range toaster oven.
yeah,
So, and I have baked bread before as well.
yeah,
And a couple of, jet boils. I mean, I lost a waist size on
yeah,
this 20,000-mile trip, but that's primarily because I, you know, haven't had any junk food available
yeah.
after the first month or two.
So how much did you actually lose? Did you say a waist size? Was that 5 kilos or something, or 10 pounds, or
Oh, not even. I'd say about 10 pounds. Yeah.
10 pounds? That's pretty normal because yeah,
Yeah.
I used to look forward to our expeditions because all of a sudden I get back to normal.
Well, yeah. You show up back on land and it's like, a pizza and a
Yeah,
bag of potato chips and
absolutely.
all the other garbage that's out there.
Yeah, not anymore. But anyway, okay, so that's all pretty cool. And uh, so when you get back here and it's all over, like you've been uh, I have to say this, that in the context of we're going to have a best percent. Your social media is not huge. It's nice. It's not huge. Are you, have you got it in your mind? Do something with a book or anything like that at the end? Like you think of all the people that are watching you, to stir them up in bits and pieces.
My daughter wants me to write a book.
Yeah,
And I mean, I've had a lot of interesting experiences that I've always had notebooks,
yeah,
so I can kind of go back and look at some of the things that I did when I was living overseas, and probably write it at some point. And I
yeah,
look at my mother right now, and she has written, about her life from her in her 20s and 30s,
yeah,
but has kind of left the rest of the story a little bit too late. So, I, I not necessarily want to publish it, but it would be for my kids.
yeah. Exactly. Yep, that's cool. Anything you change on the boat now after you've done all this distance? Or
I'd
there's
sh-
something you don't like about the boat?
I'd sure like to have that sailback that I blew up.
Yeah, that's a money thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
Everyone,
I don't know. The self steering thing is fascinating because your choices now are monitors, or
well, we lost you. Japers. That's a signal thing. That's the internet. I think that might be. Yeah, we've lost.
it's
Here we go. You're back again. Yep.
yeah, that was my son calling me right now.
Okay.
It's monitors, Aries, or hydrovanes, and
Yeah.
I would love to test all three of them
Yeah.
on my boat and look at the pros and cons.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But that's a money thing too.
It is, it is. So I mean, what kind of thing are you talking about as far as the boat?
No, just anything that you want to change. What don't you like about the boat?
I keep thinking I'd like to have a better range. I mean, I've got this the original Placimo on board.
Hang on,
Uh,
range you've got.
it's a Placimo 2000, I think.
Oh,
But the fact of the matter is, it's a great little range. I mean, it's
you call a range. That's your stove. Your
yeah,
stove.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a two burner stove with a toaster underneath, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then an oven.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's really, I can't think of anything specific that I would. I mean, maybe a new engine at some point, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And what
fine.
about water? What about water? How much water you got?
Got 100 gallons on two centerline tanks.
400. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
much?
and I carry bottles as well,
Yeah.
and I do like the occasional beer, so I'll probably carry a bunch. I kind of have to chuckle. Both Knox Johnson and Chichester. My God, I think they were both smokers and drinkers at the
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just you read some of their stories and you're like, oh my
With
God.
all due respect to Rob, but he still is, and he's still a city. It's just crazy. Anyway, yeah, all part of the deal. Okay, is there anything that you would change about the GGR if you could? I'm not saying you can. In fact, I'll tell you now you can't. But it's always quite an interesting question to throw at people before you wrap up.
um, no, I mean, I would say, I mean, there are some things that you change because of something that happened in the previous race.
Yeah, yeah.
And I understand why you do it, but there are a few things that I just is like
Such as,
well, like for example, the alarm that
oh
you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
And I mean, I'm a combat napper. I mean, I don't have issues with sleeping.
yeah,
I mean, for example, my cycle when I was a navigator on the aircraft, you had to do you'd have to do a fix on the hour, and then
yeah,
communications checks 15 and 45 minutes, and then a DR on the half hour.
yeah,
And in that hour space, I'd have a 20-hour nap or a 20-minute nap.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I'm good at combat napping and time and distance stuff, and so the fact that I've got to have a hardwire alarm, I was just like, oh my God.
For those that don't know, yeah, we require now a minimum 100.
Oh, I've lost you now. There we go.
Eh?
We require a minimum what?
My computer's went nuts. Okay, it's a 100 decibel alarm, right? A timer, so
Yep.
you can dial up to at least 4 hours, and it's got to have a flashing strobe and sort of siren, to wake you up really
Yeah,
loud.
it's like for
And that was born of the fact that we nearly lost 2 boats last year. We lost a couple of boats anyway, but we nearly lost another 2 boats because people slept through alarms. And one of the guys who slept through the alarm was complaining because you can't get a decent mechanical wind-up clock. You can get loud electronic alarms, but we don't allow electronic clocks, you see. So, and there's no question because he very nearly lost his boat because these alarms wouldn't wake him up. The old, alarm clocks and bits of wind-ups and stuff like that. So we thought, oh, bugger that. We got to change that. So,
but as I recall, one of the guys was also talking about having smoked a box of cigars to stay
well, he didn't
awake,
even have an alarm.
and he was awake for like 57 hours, and
I
then woke
know.
up in the surf, and you're just like,
I know. Well,
what's wrong with you?
yeah, you can't. I mean, all I had an egg timer. I had a bloody egg. No, not an egg timer. It was a cooking white, just a click, 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 and you could dial up to 2 hours, right? And I
Yeah,
lived with that for my circumnavigation. It was perfect, and I
yeah.
never overslept. And as you say, you get into a routine, and mine was basically about 2 hours. I would always get up every 2 hours, and I question when people say they're only sleeping, sort of 10 minutes or 5 minutes all the time. I could never survive like that.
Oh, I couldn't either. I couldn't either. And
Yeah.
and the things that wake me up
Oh,
are
the boat will wake you up, eh?
well, the boat changes motion in some
Yeah,
way,
absolutely.
and immediately you feel it, and you're awake, and you're going, "What's
Yeah,
going on?"
yeah, absolutely.
So
Anyway, I've got
it's little things like that kind of make me
yeah.
crazy, but I get it.
When you see the latest one, now you got to sort of, up until now, people had passed their safety inspection with the life raft in the cockpit or on the back deck or something, and then as soon as they passed their safety, they'd all put them down below and lash them
Yeah,
to the mast, so you could never get it out. And I never worried about that because that was their prerogative. We don't we say you've got to have this kit, you've got to do that, blah blah blah. But then my liability guys told me, they said, well, when you let them do that and you don't disagree, you're now liable. So if the guy kills himself, touch wood, because he can't get his life raft out in time, guess what? You're responsible. So now everyone that wants to move has got to sign a declaration saying they're releasing me for moving their life raft.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
and that's where I totally get where you're coming from, because next thing you
Yeah.
know, somebody you're going to have a lawyer at your door going, "Hey,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Part of the fun. Anyway, we got some comments here. I'm going to quickly go through this. So, is it okay to encapsulate the old ship bottom paint with a sealer and put new environmentally friendly paint on top? That's a technical question for the paint man, but there's nothing that would stop you doing that in the GGR. It's just covering over some old paint.
yep,
Pella Bell, someone might know you. Hey, Matt, nice seeing you. You look great. He looks like Porky Pig, actually. You should hear him talk.
careful now, Don."
Yeah,
This.
exactly. Yeah. You'll have to try and practice a line. I've heard tinges of it a couple of times there. Does the ship paint have to be removed all the way, or they're technical paint bottoms? The trigger. He is an interesting man. CVS is saying you're very interesting, and I agree.
I'm a very handsome man too.
Yeah, a bit like Porky the Pig. Anyway, okay, I won't bring it up again. I promise.
I don't think you can help yourself, Don.
Okay, Seal Lang, she's a Cape Georgian, or by the look of it, would have been so proud of his Cape George 36s participating in the GGR. Good on you, luck. In fact, it's funny, when Kirsten found the Cape George 36, I knew nothing about him, and I looked at it on paper and thought, wow, that's now a hot boat. She's done really well. And I thought it might have had a bit of an impact this edition, but it's pretty solid. We've got 3 boats, and
Yeah,
we've already
yeah.
got 12. We've got 12 entrants in the next in 2030 lined up already, paid up, and a couple of them are trying to find a Cape George 36. One of them has. So yeah, it has had an impact. Nice boats. Anyway, I digress. Jonathan Oasis, I have not found a manufacturer of such a watch alarm with 4-hour timer setting. The only available is Coast Guard watch alarms. Yeah, no, you've got to make them yourself. Basically, you buy a timer with a DC output, and you'd buy a fire alarm type thing. You get waterproof ones, which has got the strobe and the siren on it. They use them on all alarm systems and stuff, and then 12 volt, just wire it in and boom, boom.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
WhatsApp site that was set up. I know I got that information from Guy DeBoer, and it's
yeah.
a pretty cheap buy on Amazon.
Yeah, it's not a big one, but it's worth having. Anyway, good party jokes anyway for other crew. So Intrepid Hippo. Oh, that's Henry's watching. He's on the inside. Now you've let some things slip that will give Henry an advantage, Matt. You know.
Well, like
Um,
what?
well, you told him that you're going to go slow all the way to Cape Horn, so he'll back off a bit. But then
Well, I
you'll
wouldn't.
spring him with your new sail. You know.
Well, I don't want him to break his boat. And I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, he's a nice guy, is Henry. In fact, he had a good one too about our notice of race. You know, because he's army. He's still in the army. He's not
Yep.
getting out. And they want to look at duty of care, and so he had to do a risk assessment. And basically, he says all he did was give them the notice of race, and they must have looked at it and thought, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Well, no, I totally get that. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's one of the few interviews that I've seen was Henry's, and it seems like a pretty sharp lad.
yeah. He's a great guy. He does
Yep.
great videos and stuff, and you guys are going to have fun because Stephen's a bit of a dark horse. Jane and I were just talking about him tonight. He's got the other Cape George 36. And nice guy. He's sort of like but he's getting there. You know, he's pushing everything through, but we don't know a lot about him. And in fact, he's supposed to be on tonight.
That's
Uh,
Steve. Well,
we
is that
shuffled
Steve?
him in. That's Wednesday or whatever.
Is that
Um,
Steve Race you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
We got
actually
him.
I, I actually met him when I came down the West Coast. He met me in San Diego, and we took the medical course together in Fort Lauderdale as well.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting guy. Been doing training on other people's boats and stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, so between Henry and you and him, you can have a bit of fun. You know, you got to keep ahead of all the Saga 36s and Pat Lawless. He's a demon.
Well, I mean, I definitely have got my eye on a couple of people that I think are the favorites. Like Damien, I think for me is probably a favorite.
Yeah, Damien's dangerous. He's
Yep.
bloody, he's hot. So touch wood. It's going to be very interesting for sure. We've just got one here from Jonathan. No, this is, I received my GGR braided mini sextant from the UK. It is neat, small. The vendor says it is functional, but they are checking with manufacturer to verify if the glass is safe to look at in the sun. Now, who's Jonathan Oasis? Sometimes I don't recognise email addresses. Maybe he's a GGR entrant. I'm not sure. Anyway, okay, I think we're pretty much done, mate. Fun as usual. Can you give us a going out with a like a cartoon type sound or something? In fact, it's funny, eh?
I'm
I
gonna
can't
have
even
to. I'm gonna have to review the Porky Pig
Yeah,
accent.
go and watch a Porky Pig cartoon and try and work out one line because I kept hearing these little bits, and for in the beginning I thought it was Bugs Bunny, and then it's not Bugs Bunny; it's really Porky the Pig. But anyway, okay.
I'm looking at more of a Yosemite Sam kind of accent.
Oh, you've got
That's
them
what I'm
all there.
coming with.
Your voice, there's something about your voice which is right there. All right. Good on you. I'm looking forward to seeing you over this side safely, and then I'm sure we'll have a bit of fun and get right into it. Anything you want to say before we sign off?
Well, I'm just happy to be part of the GGR family, and I've said this before about you and Jane. I mean, whatever happens, I'm thankful to both of you for kind of getting me moving. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that you can put off and put off and put off when it comes to sailing around Cape Horn or around the world, or
Yeah,
going,
yeah, I know
do
what
I
you mean.
really want to do this? But there's nothing like having a goal and an objective, and you guys have provided that.
Yeah, exactly. I got to agree because we're all in it together, and we don't have an event without the entrance, and it's a huge effort from everyone. So it's not just us, but thanks for that. And it's one of those cobwebs that has a huge reach and affects a lot of people. So,
Yeah,
and I've got a
absolutely.
feeling this group of entrants is completely different than 18 and 22. And I really think touch wood. I'm just writing a press release to go out probably tomorrow, and I brought up the fact that historically it's 20% finishes. That's all. I got a feeling this edition is going to be a lot more. So we'll see what happens. Touch wood.
Well, the weather changes is interesting too. I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say the Southern Ocean trip from New Zealand to the Cape and to the Falklands was benign, but I didn't find it to be that terrifying, quite honestly. I mean, it
yeah,
was it
yeah.
was
Now
just
we're
it
getting
was
into
just
the
good
El
sailing.
Nino situation. Touch wood, because it's suggesting the way I read it, it's suggesting if it's so super strong, it may actually. It's funny to describe, but it may create more regular westerlies,
Uh-huh.
less intense lows, and the high pressure systems may be historically lower. So Anyway, no one will know till we get there, but we'll wait and see. Good to
Yeah,
chat.
and yep, and you know the whole weather thing too is interesting to me because you know it'd be nice to get weather reports, but only to let you know what's going to happen, you know, that evening. Because
Yeah,
you're not gonna race the weather. You're not gonna
yeah,
sail
yeah.
away from the weather. These are slow boats.
Well, I
You're
got
gonna
some.
get you're gonna get what you get.
It's really funny. Eh? You probably, well, you see what's going on. Hang on, everyone will be getting sick of this and hanging out. But I'm just having a chat with you. Everyone else can go and get a cup of tea. But I've had years and years and years in the Southern Ocean. A lot of transits back and forth to Antarctica over 20 years or something, and things like that. And works like clockwork. When you spend time in the Southern Ocean, you just know what's going on between. You know, the front's coming. You'll get all the clouds and everything. And it'll be overcast, and it'll be northwest, and the northwesterly will pick up. And if it's blowing, 35 knots in the northwesterly, it means the southwesterly is going to come in at about 45 knots for about
Yep.
10, 15 minutes. Then it's going to go back to about, if it was 35 nor'wester, it's going to go back to about 35 sou'wester. And you're going to see the blue sky coming before you get the wind, like the whole thing. It's like clockwork. It goes that way, this way, clouds gone, blue sky on the horizon, here it comes, bang, it's bloody gone. And there's all those things with barometers and just so many things that sailors now forget about. They just get grid files and go. And so it's a whole new world, and that's part of the fun. So,
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, there's so much wisdom we've lost.
yeah, absolutely. But you got a head start on a lot of guys because you spent time in the Southern Ocean, and it's good to get miles on your belt. It's exactly what Kirsten did. So there you go.
Yep.
Okay, we better bugger off.
Well, I'll work on my Porky Pig accent, and
Oh yeah, please do.
looking forward to seeing you in a month or so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, good on you, Matt. Okay, I'm going to switch you off. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, thanks,
See
Don.
ya. Bye bye. Okay, so I got to put this thing up here. We're on our way out. Thanks everybody, and sorry we didn't get Facebook up, but you'll get a record on this and see how we go. See you later. Bye bye. They're going to hide me.